The Chicago Bulls started off with signs of life against the Detroit Pistons, which went quickly away in the second quarter of the game. And despite some glimpses of life from the Bulls, them losing this game handily. We're going to talk about all and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, hosted by Hayes, your number one spot for all things Chicago Bulls.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host here, Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. Chicago Bulls lose 127-119 to the Detroit Pistons. And this is a game in which, after the second half, the Bulls did win the third quarter. They even won the fourth quarter, but they never were really back in this game. Every time the Bulls went on a run, the Detroit Pistons had answers, and that's just is what it is. Like, the Bulls could not really find any meaningful momentum in this game after the first quarter. And it's funny how the Bulls won. I don't know how many times you're going to see this. The Bulls only lost one quarter in this game. They won the first quarter. They won the third quarter 32-31. They won the fourth quarter 33-32, but they lost the second quarter 34-19. And that's really where the momentum changed in this game. And like I said, the Bulls never really got it back at all. They never really got it back. And so it's unfortunate to come down to it. We had some solid performances. Nikola Vucevic had a triple-double in this game off only 10 shots. He had 10 shots, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, 20 points, 1 steal, 2 blocks, only 3 turnovers. Listen, Vooch was balling this game. They put a graphic on the screen during this game that was like the Bulls are 9-4. I believe maybe it was 9-5 in games where Vooch has over 16 shots. But again, that's Billy Donovan's coaching for you. Coby White showed some signs of life in the second half of this game. He ended up finishing with an okay stat line of 22 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 turnovers, though, on 5 of 17 shooting. Ayo Dosunmu with 14 points in this game. You have Josh Giddey with 20 points, 11 assists, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals in this game from Josh Giddey. He was a lot more active in the second half of this game. 11 points from Patrick Williams, 12 points from Buzelis. So at least we're seeing those things of it. But this is a Bulls team that, hey, the struggle's here. And I know some people are going to say, well, the tank is on. They're trying to lose these games. I don't believe that that's the case. This team are trying to win games. They just don't have enough skill, man. When you look at how much the Bulls turn the ball over, 19 turnovers in this game, 19 of them, right? And the Detroit Pistons had 26 points off turnovers. They had 80 points in the paint, 10 second chance points, 22 fast break points. It's hard to overcome deficit that bad, man. It just is. This is a Bulls team that just, the execution is piss poor, and it continues to be piss poor from this team. They just don't have it, man. This team just doesn't have any type of extra gear or anything to win basketball games. They just don't. Buzelis and Patrick Williams played 16 minutes together. For those who are going to ask about that, they were -2 in that time. We had rating of -8.3 in that time period as well. So those are all things to, I will say what Billy Donovan does going forward, but this is a weird game. We lost Dalen Terry in this game. He doesn't play. We don't have Jalen Smith throughout this game, so we already have a lack of size in this game at times. We had to get 12 minutes of Javon Carter minutes, which is bad. Despite us having a lack of size, Julian Phillips only played 7 minutes in this game. It just, listen, the struggle. That's why I called it the struggle bus Bulls. That's what this team is. It's hard to pinpoint just one thing that hurts the team in games like this. It's a multitude of things that just come down from execution to inability to hit key shots, right? Not being able to stop anybody on defense. We allowed 54% shooting overall from the field today, did the Chicago Bulls. Now, they only shot 33% from 3, but that 54% from the field, that's tough to overcome. 22 points from Cade Cunningham, 21 from Jalen Duren, 12 from Tim Hardaway Jr., 12 from Ausar Thompson, 16 from Tobias Harris, 11 from Fatacino, I believe is how you pronounce it, and 19 from Malik Beasley. The Bulls got cooked today. That is what it is, man. And this is a team that continually lacks that extra gear that's needed for execution. And it's just going to continue. It's not going to change for this team magically overnight. This isn't going to be a team throughout this same roster. This is why I keep telling people, if you're looking for this team to make a trade that's going to make us on paper better, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that. That's not coming for this basketball team. That's not where we are. This is not where we are. This is a team that has all the feelings of a team trying to go, a team that needs to rebuild. No, I don't think they're going to go through a full rebuild. I've been very clear and adamant at that. Right? Regardless if they should or not, they're not going to. And this is going to continue to be a struggle from this team, man. This is ugly basketball from an ugly basketball team that just doesn't have any execution. And it's just going to, this is going to be, I said it, I tweeted this during the game. At the beginning of the season, the Bulls were fun bad, right? About 15, maybe you can say 20-ish games, they were fun bad. This is now just a bad basketball team. That's all it is. This is just a bad basketball team. And it's not going to change. This is like this is who this team is going to be for the rest of the season. If anything, I'll say this. It's going to get worse before it gets better. And I think that's fair to say. It's going to get worse before it gets better for this basketball team. So y'all might as well dig in. We might as well have some fun. We're going to have fun on the trade deadline special. We're going to kick it like we always do. But if you're hoping that this team is going to magically change into being a better basketball club, it's not coming, y'all. It's not. This is going to be an ugly finish to an ugly season for the Chicago Bulls. That's what this is going to be. The best thing possible is that the Bulls just continue to allow Buzelis to develop, that we continue to see chemistry build between the younger players on them that hopefully are going to be here for a while. And other than that, listen, I tell you, it's not going to be a lot positive coming from this squad, y'all. So, like I said, have fun with it. We're going to kick it. We're going to do what we always do. That's not going to change. It's not going to stop. But this is a team that, especially when they're playing against off player caliber and other playing caliber teams, it just isn't going to be there, y'all. It isn't going to be. Keep in mind, the Chicago Bulls have the 10th hardest schedule remaining in the NBA. Y'all remember when everybody was saying, well, we got the second easiest schedule in NBA, Hayes. We're about to start making a move towards the 4 and 5th seed. Yeah, it's not happening, y'all. It's not happening. So this was a Chicago Bulls experience. This is what you can expect. This is a Chicago Bull experience. Hey, how are we always playing down? The Detroit Pistons are a considerably better team than the Chicago Bulls. They're not playing down. I think people have this, like when people say things like, oh, like even when we played against, who was the last team we got to win against? Or team was like, well, why do we play so good against these type of teams? Like it shouldn't be this close against this type of team. It's like, y'all do realize that the Toronto Raptors and us are basically we're the same level of team. The Detroit Pistons are a better basketball team than the Chicago Bulls. It pains me to say that, but they are a better basketball team than the Chicago Bulls. So this ain't playing down to a level of competition. This is the level that this is above us. This is still an above us team. So it ain't no playing down today. Ain't no playing down today. Am I over-exaggerating? Did this team play tit for tat basketball like you score, I score in the fourth quarter? Absolutely. I believe this was the last game we will see Vooch on this team. Went out with the bang with that triple-double. Vooch ain't going nowhere. I'll tell y'all that right now. I'd love to be wrong on that, but Vooch ain't going nowhere. And I'm not even saying that to down Vooch. For the betterment of Vooch, I hope that Vooch can go to a team where he can compete in the latter half of his career. Vooch 34 years old. I hope that he gets traded to a team where he's competing for the last 2, 3, 4 years of his career. I really do hope that, rather than being on this shithole of a team. Man, Vooch having only 10 attempts. Why? Because we're the Chicago Bulls, bro. Because we are the Chicago Bulls. Frustrating game, but at least Vooch and Giddey had a good game. Also, Billy played Modest. So, yeah, listen, Modest played. He led the team in minutes off the bench tonight with 26. Josh Giddey played a really good game. You cannot deny that Josh Giddey had a good game. Like, it is what it is, man. Giddey building up that Spurs trade value. That's hilarious, man. People will score double digits 4 straight games. That's something, and modest as well. Cool. The NBA players score double digits. Great. Yeah, instead of being surprised about losing, I just said, yeah, that's the Bulls. And that's really all it is. I hate, you guys know, I'm usually a lot more optimistic person than most Bulls fans, right? Like, I'm usually optimistic, like, hey, we can win this, we can still do this. When people are like, oh, we're not going to do anything because we never do anything, I'm like, hey, listen, this is what it is, right? The Bulls got a chance to do X, Y, Z. But I'm also a realist, and I'm always going to be real with y'all. This is a bad basketball team. And so I've been saying that for weeks now. Those that have been supporting can tell y'all this ain't nothing new for Hayes. When people are like, how can you be a Bulls fan and you talk so bad about the team? Because I'm real. This team is not a good basketball team at all. Coby was trash in the beginning. Yeah, he was definitely trash in the beginning. It was a tale of two halves for a lot of the Chicago Bulls, right? Like when you look at the first half of basketball, for example, Nikola Vucevic, 4 of 5 for 9 points. That's good. Coby White was 1 of 7. That's not good. Josh Giddey was 2 of 7 with 8 points. That's not necessarily good. He did have 9 rebounds in the first half of the game. But then you look at the second half, right? The Bulls overall shot 46% in the second half, 12 points from Josh Giddey, 17 from Coby White, 11 from Nikola Vucevic, 9 from Ayo Dosunmu. We did most of our work in the second half of the game, mainly because we only scored 19 points in the second quarter. So we did a lot more damage in the second half of the game, but this is why 4 quarters of basketball, 4 quarters of intensity, it's a cliche saying to say for sure, but that's why it's important, right? You got to play a complete 4 quarters. You got to play a complete 4 quarters of basketball. If you don't, that's how you can win. The Bulls won 3 out of the 4 quarters of this game, but still lost the game. I wanted the Bulls to only have 23 wins this season, but me knowing Reinsdorf, I said the Bulls will have more than likely 33 to 34 wins this season. I said 30 to 35 wins, I think is what I predicted for this team. We got, 32 games left? So that means we would have to win 14 out of 34 games. That's almost 500 for us to finish at the height of what I predicted. I don't know, man. That's about to be ugly. I just watched one of the most craziest random trades in history of any sport. I have a GM who was probably still thinking to himself, listen, how many times are you going to say that same one? You've less that. The one thing about Melvin is when he thinks he has a hit comment, he going to copy and paste that bitch on every Chicago Bulls YouTuber in their comments. It seems like most of the time, Vooch is the one keeping Vooch from getting shots. He'll get it deep in the paint just to pat. No, that's not correct. Sorry. Like we don't have near one of the biggest things that have been a problem for this Bulls team for the last 3 years is we don't know how to make entry passes. So I'm not saying most of the time because we don't do a good job at identifying it. AK needs to do something like, come on, quit playing hardball for a pick that you might not even develop properly. But then what? What do you want him just to trade? See, that's the thing. What are you looking for then? So you're saying that if the Bulls aren't going to get a pick, they should just trade players to trade them? What does that benefit them? We're not in the business of making a trade just to make other teams better. We want something out of it. So, oh, that's a dope Bulls crew neck. In the cart. When you put that uniform on, just be ready to play or sit out. It's that simple. It's really not. The biggest issue with the paint defense is how often the wings and guards let easy cuts to the hoop. It's not even Vooch for the typically shitty defense most. Oh, yeah, I battle against people with that all the time. People will see the Chicago Bulls points in the paint and be like, oh, my God, Vooch is so terrible. And it's like, well, most of those points in the paint honestly do come from the perimeter defense just not being able to stop penetration to save their life. Like it's Joy Taylor out there. They're just giving it up. So, that runs into some problems. Giddey triple doubles, the Bulls won. Ayo triple double, Bulls win. But Vooch triple. Come on, bro. That's an overcome. Like, come on, man. What are you doing here, bro? Lack of rotation in the last quarter became an issue. Giddey was absolutely gassed and needed to be subbed out when Lonzo came on. Yeah, and that has to happen. That's what happens when your team has to give so much effort in the second half of a game because just to try to be in it. Full 4 quarters of basketball. That's what the Chicago Bulls need to be focused on for real, man. Because they keep hurting themselves with this lackadaisical effort, bro. It's always this lackadaisical effort from the Bulls, man. And honestly, it's so freaking frustrating. It's so frustrating because you would think that we've done this enough, yo. You would think that we've done this enough. And apparently we have not. So, hey, here we are. Welcome to the Chicago Bulls experience, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you guys for put on your seats, tuck your luggage in, make sure that your trays are up and in the upright position, and we're gonna dig in and play some basketball because yeah, this is about to be tough, y'all. This is about to be tough, y'all. 9-51 from the three. Bulls shoot too many three-pointers as a team. I wonder if the Bulls the only team in the NBA to shoot more three. No, we're not. It's the modern NBA, brother. Pistons beat the Kings. They fire Mike Brown. Pistons beat the Mavs. They trade Luka. Pistons beat the Bulls, and nothing happens. So, Hayes, I don't get how the Bulls defense ranks the near last, but yet they are second in opponent 3-point field goal shooting percentage because it takes more than that for good defense. This is what it is. Like, cool. Like, I get it that the league is so many threes nowadays. Like, believe me, I completely understand that. But it's more than just that. It got to be more than just that if you want to be a successful team. Do you guys think we could add a piece or two that can make us but no, listen, that is not the goal here, bro. You gotta let that go, man. You gotta let that go, fam. The Chicago Bulls loose like your girl. What? Loose like your common sense and them baby braids that you got, my boy? Like, come on, bro. Like, Kawhi can have dirty braids because he's rich. You can't, bro. Get your life together. Two words that describe the difference today: rim presence. No, not just that. Turnovers, lack of execution. So, Hayes, the game was a perfect example of why you need a good backup big man. When you actually look at, here we go. Every time when you actually look, when you think about it, you still ain't talked about the fact that you lied and said that Walker Kessler isn't starting and is barely playing any minutes. You want to address that? Yes, Shay. You're gonna keep avoiding that because I know you in here watching me when I call you out on that. But I know you purposely not saying nothing because you don't like to admit when you're wrong. Thanks for finally wearing a regular shirt on NBA Central last night. You stupid, bro. I was asleep. That's not the first time I've wore a regular shirt on NBA Central either. I came to think I've worn regular hoodies. I've worn regular shirts there. I don't wear Bulls or Bears gear on NBA Central. So the Bull here, first of all, you need to worry about why you only got 6 dreads in your head. Talking about you didn't want to rebuild in 2020. Nobody's gonna go into the Bulls team had just came together. They literally just rebuilding. Do you know your years? You are so busy trying to hold on to those few dreads you got in your head, like common sense. How you got more dreads than brain cells? The Bulls had just came together in 2020-21. Why would they go into a rebuild the time where they just put their team together? Tell me how that makes sense. You just be wanting to be right and sound smart, and you and your loctician look stupid for the fact that you're trying to hold on to that. You worse than LeBron. How you got THT's hairline with dreads? How you got that? That don't even make any sense. That don't make any sense. What are we doing, yo? What are we doing? Giddey is 4th player in NBA history to get over 5,000 assists and rebounds before the age of 23. The other 3 players being Luka, Magic, and LeBron. Not bad for a guy who's supposed to suck. Who's ever said that Josh Giddey sucks? And again, we've talked about it. Josh Giddey is top 10 in triple-double since he's come here. Josh Giddey does not suck. Anybody who says Josh Giddey sucks is caught up in narrative and not actual basketball, right? Josh Giddey doesn't suck. He has his areas that he definitely struggles in that negatively impacts his team, but he doesn't suck. Can't get stops where it matters. That's a fact. That's an absolute fact. Before the Bulls get good, they got to trade vets and draft and go from there. No, they don't. They just got to be they just got to be smart in their moves that they do. Hey, the 2 games that watched the Utah Jazz this season, Walker was out. I was based. See, that's the thing, Shay. Stop basing stuff off the little sample size that you see, bro. You be coming in here making these adamant statements like you've been watching. That's the problem, bro. is that you watch a very small sample size and then come in here and talk like, oh, I got this expert analysis, like you've been watching and following shit. Come on, man. I just want Giddey to practice more on his shooting during the offseason. I've said this before. Josh Giddey is either a solid defender, becoming a solid defender away, or a consistent three-point shot away from being a perennial all-star. It's just a fact. I might be crazy, but it seems like AK is hoping to speed run a rebuild by getting young players teams don't like and rehab them, or going for drafting players. I don't think he's trying to speed run. The way that I explained it this offseason when we signed those young players is that that they're course correcting, meaning that they're trying to see if they can get something that sticks. I don't think that's trying to speed run a rebuild. That's basically saying, hey, we're gonna be bad, so let's see if we can get some young players in here and find a diamond in the rough. I don't necessarily think they're trying to speed run a rebuild by that, but maybe that's just me over the terminology. Javon Carter should retire a Bull. He's a great piece to have on the bench for always coming in and getting consistent, easy buckets. Hernandez, shut the fuck up. Like, I love you, bro. I love you, but you gotta shut the fuck up, bro. Because if you think Javon Carter should retire a Bull, not only did you get dropped on your head as a baby, I got to question if you're doing cocaine. I literally have to question that if in your free time you are speedballing cocaine and fentanyl back to back. I got to question that if you really think that. So you're saying the Bulls don't have to go full rebuild draft capital mode to be? No, they don't have to do that. They can develop. They got some good young pieces here. They can hit on their pick this year. It doesn't take much to be a good team. A good team and a championship team are very different. The Bulls could be one player away from being a good team. So no, you don't have to go full rebuild because again, you have, and if you typically look at it, the teams that actually become good while they are developing still have a key vet around. So no, you don't have to go crazy and sell all your vets off to all of a sudden become a good team. Folks, why you be tweaking on people like this? Because listen, I don't play that bullshit. This is not ESPN. I don't have no bosses here. I run this shit. So I'm telling y'all right now, if you come in here acting stupid, I'm literally, I'm killing somebody. Like, what are we doing, man? I mean, with jokes. I mean, with killing with jokes. What do you think the overhaul in return for Lonzo and Vooch will be? Only one first-round pick for Luka changes everything, I think. I mean, bro, I really don't know. I really don't know, bro. I really don't know, man. I wish I could, right? I wish I could. Like, I came into this thinking a couple of seconds for Lonzo, first, unprotected first, hopefully for Vooch, or if it's protected, very, very likely to convey. But you know, I don't know, man. Will not be shocked. Bulls acquired Zion. Yeah, you should be shocked by that because that's not going to happen. There's zero chance of that happening. I wonder why Zach LaVine want to stay in Chicago. He should want to go to a contender. I think there's some pride in wanting to turn this around. Like, I do think that Zach LaVine feels a sense of, hey, this is supposed to be my team. And do y'all remember? This is a while ago. This was Zach LaVine's, I think, second season here. So the first season, he only played, 30-something games because he was coming back from ACL injury. That first season, we were up against, I think it was the Minnesota Timberwolves. And Zach went on a run. He had like 28 points in a game. And he was like, this is my city, my city. And we've never really seen that fire from Zach LaVine since then. But I do think that Zach LaVine sees something in like hey, if we could really get this turned around, I would really like to win here. Like, I think there's something that him just saying, like, I would love to be able to win here because this is where I came. This is really where I turned into the player that I am. I would love to win here. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? Billy's coaching was so awful. I mean, there was a lot of bad decisions out there today for sure. That's 100% fact. I live out of market in the attendance down at the UC this year. It's not as down as some people will try to make it seem to be, but there have been some things saying that maybe the Bulls are giving out free tickets to people so that they can inflate the attendance numbers. So there's that. Like, that's like a little internal controversy that free tickets. Confirm or deny that, I have no idea. The person that I know in Chicago Bulls marketing would never tell me that, even if that was the case. So, Javon Carter, consistent shot. Bro came in and was hot one game. Today comes in jacking up threes early in the shot clock, going from 1 from 5. Um, his bald ass back on the bench to be the hype man. That's crazy. That's crazy. We have to look fun bad in order to get that pick, fill those seats. Those money got to keep on rolling. I feel where you're coming from with that. Javon Carter's retired a Bull already. Yeah, I mean, in a way, he is kind of already retired, right? Because his career is done. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Javon Carter goes somewhere else and actually finds a way to be productive. I wouldn't be surprised with that at all. What would you do probably if Luka as on the Bulls and not the Lakers? What if we got Luka? I mean, I'm not going to woulda, coulda, shoulda. I mean, I'd be ecstatic if we got Luka. If it would have been last night that it got announced that the Chicago Bulls got Luka Doncic, I mean, I would have been ecstatic. It would have been crazy. It would have been absolutely crazy. Is there a chance we can still get Brandon Ingram? Because I know we've been linked to him for a while. He's a young, promising star. We can add. We haven't really been linked. It was one rumor that came out that, especially and that was more towards the beginning of the season, where the Pelicans looked like they were still going to try to be a playoff team this year. That's really gone by the wayside. So, Hayes, if you check the reviews for the Bulls on Glassdoor from former employees, they spill all the tea on how the org is run. They definitely giving away. Okay, well, there you go. There you go. So, but all right, y'all, I got to get ready to go do Locked On, man. Make sure you guys are following the show at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. That's thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See red if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.